All right, happy Monday, happy Monday. What a day, what an awesome day. Man, we got it in today. We changed our oil. We got a little late start today, but hey, we got to get some equipment alterations done. But hey, we got it done. We got it done. We're dealing with the long sleeve and short sleeve heat gear. Kind of cool out here. You can feel that wind. You feel that wind, so that's why we got the long sleeve on. We have the long leggings on, heat gear, internal, external thermogenic. That's where you see this extra sweat coming from, folks. You're making your own heat when it's not warm enough out here. Hello, and you want to be warmed up before you start stretching and doing your regular exercise. Don't start stretching and stuff before you get warmed up. You start pulling muscles and stuff. You don't want that. And we have the glutamine amino acid there. There's the powder form, 5 milligrams, 30 minutes before you work out and 30 minutes after. So you won't be sore and tight. Folks, remember, try to keep that sodium down out of your system. The sugars. And it's not about watch what you're eating. If it's anything, when you're buying your products, look on there and see how much sodium is in stuff. Look on the label. That's what it's there for. You need some sodium, but you don't need a lot of it. You don't need no 400, 500, 600, 700 milligrams of that. And it adds on depending on what you're eating for that setting there, folks. Folks, let me hit you. This is not going to be long. Let me say this. There is no alternative. Let me say that again. There is no alternative. Somebody say, well, Clay Brooks, what do you mean by that? Well, I mean it in a spiritual way. You can put it in a physical way as well. But once you put it in the spiritual way, that physical going to line up right here. It ain't going to be over here. It's not going to be over there. It's going to be right there, as the old folks say, smack dab in the middle. Which means there's no alternative. There's no alternative to the I am. And I know, man, my heart was intended to put something on yesterday. But I did not want to compete with entertainment. And on Sundays, there's a lot, right through here, there's a lot of entertainment going on. We're trying to find a place to get lost in. And that's an alternative place. This is reality here, folks. But if you're not careful, Satan will have you thinking that this is it. This is the major life right here. And really, it's not. It's the afterlife. Hello. So there is no alternative to him, to this word. You stick to the word. You stick to his plan. And don't veer off. So when the physical go down, when the physical has some problems, some issues, and folks, believe me, it is plenty out here. You're dealing with yourself, with your family, with your occupation people, with church folk, all over just driving. If you're commuting, if you're on a train, a bus, whatever, which way, when you're dealing with other minds out here that has been taken control by Satan back here. And I know, well, everybody can't be in control. If God's not in control up here, who's in control? We don't do our own thing by ourselves. We're influenced by something or somebody. And there's no alternative to salvation. There's no alternative to the Holy Spirit. There's no alternative to the ecclesia, the church, the kingdom. And I know there's a lot of word, there's a lot of people out here sound good. Make things, and they twist things. And some people say, I'm confused. I don't know which one is which. That's why you get to this book, you get to the standard. Old Testament Hebrew, New Testament Greek. That's the language. And it's not going to steer you wrong, folks. Yes, there's different translations. But if you want to get down to the original nitty gritty, hit it right there. It's going to come straight out on you. And you're not going to miss the boat. Like I said, you go back to Daniel 2:44. God will set up a kingdom, not kingdoms, that will destroy other kingdoms. What is that kingdom? It is the church. The church is not plural. It is singular. And I don't know how we missing it. We're trying to say this faction over here, this church over here, and we're calling it the church. But is it the definite article, the church? Is it the one that you find that started where? In Jerusalem, when? AD 33. By who? No other than the Messiah. What's the date time on this? Acts 2:38. Peter had keys to the kingdom. That's the church, the ecclesia. He opened it up to everybody. It's just not to a few people. It's to everybody, folks. Like it was told to Nicodemus, we all must be born again. Again, there's no alternative to that. You just can't ask God to come in my heart. I don't care how, if you're on your sick, dying bed, you just can't ask God to come into my heart. I got to get in that watery grave of baptism. Why? Because it's a commandment. I can't change it. You can't change it. You can't say, well, the word didn't mean that. It states what it says. Be command. Baptize every one of you in the name. And you go down the watery grave and you come up a new creature in preposition there. Now you're in the lock of the Spirit. Now you receive your care package. What's the care package? No other than the Holy Spirit, which is the definite article there. You only receive it through the definite article, the church, ecclesia. Not churches, not bodies. And we get confused on it, folks. We get emotional on things. And we see folks been doing this for a long time, especially our parents, high official people that we see on television, here on radios. And we're hoping it is right. But until we get in this book and we line book up with what actions, then now we have some plans. Now we see there's an alternative, which there is no alternative. We got to get this right, folks. We do not want to mislead nobody. And I'm saying this out of love out here, folks. I've been on this thing for a long time. There's folks who try to sabotage, who have tried to downplay. And there are going to be some folks that's going to leave off of here. And I appreciate the compliment of my peers that I went to school with, folks that I come in contact with from different cities, because it is hard out here. And I know I come to the completion knowing Satan is busy. He's crafty. He's slick. He used everything and everybody to try to tear down what God has set up. And it's no other than the church and you, if you're part of the definite article of the church. Yeah, you're going to be persecuted. He told you you're going to be persecuted. We get knocked down, we get back up. We put strength on strength and let that weakness go to hell. We do what, Claybrooks? We put strength on strength and let weakness go to hell. Where you get your strength from? From the word, the logos. The gospel, the euangelon. That's the power giver. That's the dunamis. That's the excelsior power. That's the kratos power. You get beat up, you keep on going. I find it amazing. And some of you don't know this, and some of you probably do. But that Greek word kratos is dealing with the word power. And there's a video game PlayStation came out with a while back called The God of War. One of my favorite games. You can take that character as being Hercules, but they removed that Hercules term and put the Greek word there, kratos, which is power. And it's man, I tell you, his voice, if you was a blind man, everything Kratos does, he's putting force, energy, vigor, strength, effort behind it, even when he became a god. And his power was taken away from him. Everything he was just doing, you could hear if he's drawing back a bow, if he's pushing the door open, if he's rolling a rock, you can hear the strain. You can see the agony sometimes. He's holding himself aside where he's been cut. He's every move he made. That's why they called him Kratos, because it's the power. And yes, he had the power to rip folks apart too. And I know it sometimes it is fictional, folks, but that Greek word is what that means. That means if we have Kratos power, look what we can go through. Again, there's no alternative out here. And people will have you believe inside of this matrix, if you're on this blue pill, that there are alternatives out here. But once you come on this red pill and you realize there is no alternative, it is what it is. Folks will try to be your friend. Folks will try to get in relationships with you. Folks will try to do everything they can. And it's hardly no genuine folks out here left. Why? Because they're out of this word. They haven't taken the red pill. They don't see the programs. They don't see the Mr. Smiths out here. And therefore, you get locked in on an alternative program, alternative system, an alternative God. And Satan sitting back just clapping. That's what he wants. He don't want you to believe in the I am, the one. He wants you to believe in the many, the few. Hello? Folks, stay up out here. I'm trying to help somebody to break through the stronghold of not reading this book. We can't get tapped into feelings and what I think, how I feel, what it seems, what it looked like. It's what it is in this book, folks. This is going to be here when we're dead and gone. It's going to be here in the judgment. It's going to be sitting there. The book of Revelation said the books, plural, were open. What it means, this word, the Logos, is going to be open. The book of life, which our name have to be in that book to escape Gehenna hell out here. That's the eternal fire. Our deeds, the book of deeds, would be laying right there. Like going to court, folks. See, we can't miss this court date. We can't reschedule, can't call it in. We have to show up. And folks, let me tell you something. Let me get out of here. Once you know You have done the best you can according to this word. And you've done all you can according to this word. And perhaps somehow death catches you. It is a relief on this side of life. Hello. Now, if you are in the kingdom, the ecclesia, the church, the bride of preposition Christ, you don't have no regrets. Maybe there's some things you wanted to do. There's some like a bucket list or whatever. Maybe there's some things you wanted to do to get out here and do some. But it is well with your soul when God has called you home. You've done everything. You've been out here trying to get somebody to get into the kingdom before it's everlasting too late. That is our goal. That is our job. That is our commandment. That is our mission. And folks are dying every single day. When you got to that point, there is no regret. There shouldn't be no, I wish I could have, should have done. I should have told somebody. I should have let somebody know that I was a Christian person, a God-fearing person, a follower, a believer. There's a difference between someone who believes, a believer, and someone who say they believe and don't have the action of this word. Hello. There is no alternative to this word. There's no alternative to a righteous lifestyle. Either you in or you out. Stay about here, folks, till next time.